Tariq, we're talking real estate in the lovely Diamond Bar area. How are you doing today, Tariq?
I'm doing very good.
Excellent. Today we are talking about why people have to sell. We're in a market that nobody's moving up. Nobody's laddering their property because apparently everybody can remember what happened in 2006 and 7 for some remarkable reason.
Yeah.
The internet has had a change on real estate, and you and I have been around long enough to see that change happen. So now we're seeing only people who have to sell.
Yeah.
Is that sort of your impression of the area currently?
There's a lot of properties for sale. If you talk about the way the market is, how the prices are higher, but there's also a lot of properties for sale, and a lot of people are selling it, listing it. Because I remember, just like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I used to run listings in Diamond Bar. Under 500,000, I would get only 18 listings. Now, if I run listings under $1 million, I get like 70 listings, 80 listings. So there's a lot of people selling. Maybe they're selling because the market is too high, and they want to get out. And or the other thing is, I don't see any foreclosures or short sales.
No.
See,
it's obvious that market has dried up, at least in this area.
There's no short. So what you can figure out from there is people are not selling because they have to sell; they want to sell.
But still, 12% even in this area, people are still missing their payments, which is a remarkable thing.
There is a lot of them, but it doesn't show. But those homes are not being listed as short sales or anything because they have so much equity; they can still sell it.
Okay, so let's start with why people sell, and let's start right there, the missed payment. So every homeowner who misses a payment seems to live in a fantasy land that they're going to get a loan modification.
Yes, that's
some very bizarre land where you don't.
Last time when I did the tags I put on, and I had 3 people I went to the house, they were in a totally different state of mind. I mean, they had almost notice of default on them, and then said, "Oh, what is it?" When I gave them the home advocate thing, I said, "Oh, is this a joke or something?" I said, "No, it's not a joke. It's something you want to talk about, your foreclosure." "Oh, no, I don't need to talk to you. Are you not from my bank? I'll talk to my lawyer." So that's the state of mind people are in.
And the remarkable part of, and I know this for a fact because one of the properties you tagged was one of the properties that I was working with, went to foreclosure.
Yeah.
These are people that live in that fantasy land, and I know for a fact that, because I knew where you put the tags, and you met with homeowners that have missed payments, they really do believe that at the end of the rainbow of not paying, you get a loan modification and you get to keep your house.
Yeah, somebody, I don't know who's giving them the information, where are they getting this information that loan modification works? I don't see it in the media or anywhere, anybody pushing it, any ads or anything. But somehow these people, when they get into, I don't know, it's like they really want to just not take care of what their problem is. They just want to sit there and think that everything's going to get better by somehow, because somebody is telling them that you don't need to do anything. I'll fix this for you. I'll do this for you. And they keep wasting their time sitting there unless their house is foreclosed. But the other thing is, I'm not seeing a lot of foreclosures. There are hardly any foreclosures in this area.
Well, most of them don't get noted anymore.
Yeah.
They go straight to auction.com.
They don't get listed, so the banks are not listing it. Probably they're just selling it to...
That's another reason for the adjusted market that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, there's a limit of properties. Well, if you're not letting REOs back onto the market to settle the need for housing, and you're sending them into an auction.com, or they're getting bought on Wall Street by people that are using them as an investment now, because we're at a point where 60% of homes are now non-owner occupied. It's some drastically insane number.
Renters, the rents are so high. There are so many people out there looking for rental properties, and the rents are so high. I don't know how people can afford to pay so much rents.
And you have to be willing to move outside your... I know because I was trying to move back to the beach this summer. And the qualifier was ridiculous. I cannot believe what people are qualifying for. What I'm more blown away by is the audacity of the amount of money that people are asking for the rents.
Yes, that's really outrageous what people are asking for rent. It's really, I mean, in Diamond Bar, if you look at it, Roland Heights, Diamond Bar, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom is over $2,300, $2,400.
That's insane.
That's a lot of money.
I have a condo in Phillips Ranch. I have been renting it for $1,000 even when it was underwater when I got it back. Now I look at it and I go, okay, this renter is going to be out in May or June. It's now with $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month because it's right by shopping. It is a 2-bedroom. It is 1,000
Those
square
things
feet.
used to rent for $700-800 a month.
Yeah, we were happy to get $1,000 for it.
I even know somebody who has I sold a house there. A friend of mine bought in Rio Rancho on Rio Rancho, that Willow Crest area.
Yep.
There's a friend of mine. He sold his house. I think he bought it for like $90,000 or something way back in '80s, and then he lived there. Then he sold it. I sold it for like $130,000, and then I know somebody who bought the same thing for $250,000 a few years ago. That's like 6-7 years ago. And rent used to be. I know the 1-bedroom condo in there. Somebody in our office owns it. Used to be like $500. Now it's like $700, $800, $900 for one bedroom.
Insane. It is literally insane. When I moved, when I was still working at the bank, I bought that 2-bedroom in the complex, and it was outrageous in 2007 because it was still the market adjusting, and then the market completely collapsed under it, and now it's got all of its value back. I was talking about this the other day. I'm strongly debating holding it out for one more year because I know the acceleration of the market.
I think the properties will still appreciate for another year or so, and people are. I think the listings we have in Diamond Bar and area in Chino Hills, most of the people I think are selling it because they can get a lot of money right now. Where they're going, I don't know. Either they're going in this different.
So if I'm having a problem making a $1,500 a month payment on my house, loan mod or not, that same house that I'm now going to have to go rent
is going to be
no
like
credit
$2,500.
Is $2,500.
Yeah.
And people who are getting foreclosed on in record rates, they just released the numbers for Southern California. People are getting foreclosed upon at a pretty ridiculous rate at the moment. I don't think that they understand that, well, I'm just going to go down the street and rent something. Number one, you don't have the credit characteristics that anybody's looking for. Nobody's going to tolerate that credit.
No.
Then secondly, even if you get over that hump, the next hump is even more frightening, which is they're going to ask you more than what you were paying for the house you own.
I tell you, the criteria in Diamond Bar for rental property is very strict. People who own rental properties here, condos, they want excellent credit. They don't even. There was one case, a friend of mine who had a girl who works in his office for like 17 years. She worked for him, and she had bad credit. She had divorce or something and everything. The guy, but she can show that she's been working for so many years and she makes that money.
Doesn't matter.
But when they look at her credit, it shows really bad.
Yep.
So I put her application like 8-9 places here in Diamond Bar. Everybody turned her down. Nobody would give you a house. So unless you have good credit here in this area, it's very hard to find a property.
It's unbelievable, and I don't think people who are not making. It seems to me people who don't make payments expect that they're going to get an adjusted payment, when the statistics seem to prove out that after the third missed payment, and I'll say this to anybody who's listening, your third missed payment, 85% transfer title.
Yeah.
That's one way or the other, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And homeowners don't get that, and especially in a town that is so condo heavy like Diamond Bar.
Yeah.
It's always fun to talk about this area. You're in a condo, you couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Your logic is that it was underwater, and that's why you haven't paid in the last 5 years, or whatever craziness you got involved with, or life change, and you believe that they're going to give you lenience. Now, back in the day, all they ever did gave you a one-time catch-up and forbearance agreement.
Yeah, but they give you a certain time to catch up, but then they would tag out everything, all the areas. They'll add it to your loan again, and then
or re-amortize the entire loan and start you over.
I don't know anybody. I have met whose loan was rewritten again or reduced. There were some people whose loan was rewritten and they reduced the loan amount or the interest rate.
But there were people who could make the payments.
Yeah, they were. But most of the people did not. Most of the people, they got loan modification for like 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. After that, they were put all the balance was put back on their loan again. So.
In the last 2 years, I've seen the shift. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I saw a window where homeowners who had missed payments for a year or two were being rewarded with okay loan modifications, where you were paying a few $100s less to some degree. And then the market shifted again, and it became a point where everybody who missed a payment absolutely and fundamentally believed, to their toes, that they were going to get an adjusted payment and that they were going to keep their house if they missed payments, and that the bank would work with them. When in fact, to this day, banks are just looking for the information and what this non-documented individual, and I'll say that most of you who have a home loan, you did not document anything other than where you live and maybe where you work. But by and large, they don't know who your friends are, they don't know how to collect from you. So they do this application that's going to go get its $150 from the government.
Yeah.
They start running in California. They start they don't even care about dual tracking. So they're literally quote unquote processing this loan mod that they don't intend to give to them. They'll call it a trial loan mod to get around the loophole.
Yeah, that's what they do, is a trial loan mod. So I don't know, but my question is, I was just checking the listings in the area around here, Chino Hills. I was looking at all homes from $1 million to $2 million have been listed for at least 90 days, 100 days or more.
Oh yes, while you were gone, it plateaued a little bit. You were out of the country. For those listening to the podcast, something dramatic's happened in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
People stopped buying.
Yeah, that is.
And this is all the way to Valencia.
Some homes are just sitting there and taking a long time. Nobody's
if you're in Southern California and you are wondering why
especially higher bracket homes, nobody's making an offer. The homes are sitting.
Southern California over the last 30 days.
Yeah.
I've watched it because I do talk to so many different realtors. So it's not surprising that from even where I am in San Diego up to here, and this is true Southern California right in the middle, all the way to Valencia, everybody's now seeing 90 days on market.
And I don't know, that's what tells me is that there is a correction in the higher end market right now. So there should be those people whose home has been listed for, I know a couple of people who personally know them, their homes were listed for like 1.4, 1.5, and they have been listed for 6 months already. They have not even had any offers in there.
Why have they not lowered the price?
See, that's what the thing is. They don't want to lower. They think this is what the dreamland people live in. They think they just have an idea, oh, my house is this much. Even if a professional shows them the numbers, no, this is what the houses are selling in your area, they still do not believe. They still say, no, I want to sell it for more than that.
And that has an effect. So when you look at the carryover effect of reasons why you have to sell, change of life, or why you really have to sell, as compared to what happens during the summer, and we're seeing the end of the summer now, which is I want to sell because I'm taking advantage of the market. We're at the end of summer.
Even people who have to sell are in that state of mind. They want more. They just don't want to reduce the prices.
So is it just greed of the homeowner?
Maybe it's just the greed of the homeowner, or maybe it's just the market which is telling them the prices are high, because everybody tells them wherever they go, prices are very high, so real estate is really up. So, and it's hardly going up like 5% a year according to the numbers.
Yes.
So it's not a huge jump every year. From the last 2-3 years, it's only going up like 5%. And people still think that the prices are, and this is what I think is, people are still in the same state of mind they were in 2006, 2007. It's going to keep going up forever. Right. I don't think so. I think the Fed's meeting is today. I think if they raise the discount rate like even a quarter or like less than 0.25%, watch the market come down.
Oh, it'll
There'll
come
be
down
so
quickly.
many people out of the market who will not be able to buy a house. Even at the lowest rate.
They will have to. They have to.
The lowest rate possible you can get today is like around 4%, 30-year mortgage.
And that's crazy.
And if you cannot qualify for 4%, how are you going to qualify for like 4.5%, 5%? Because one little tick move is going to bring the rate up to almost 5%.
Yes.
And nobody's going to go. And people don't understand that 5% or 4% is a hell of a bargain to buy a house. Hell of a bargain to buy a house at 4%. I remember